exclusive too soon in dating, especially in early dating. And so, for me personally, what I believe is that a man knows whether or not he wants you and whether or not he you within the first couple of minutes, and by sure, the first couple of days, whether or not he wants to marry you. And so, if you are stuck in a situationship, um, relationship, but it's not going anywhere for years or months or things of that nature, to own your power, know your worth, advocate for yourself, and to know why you shouldn't just hop into being exclusive so soon if you want to be a wife. And again, this is for women that want to be a wife, you desire to be a wife, you're not just trying to say you want to have kids within marriage and you want to live your life together, not just be his girlfriend forever. So if that is you, then this life is for you. So, okay, so mistake number one that I see with women that hop into exclusivity too early, too soon, is hopping into a relationship where you're not clear about his timeline for marriage. So you're hopping into a relationship, you don't know about his timeline for marriage, you're not sure when he wants to get married, if he wants to get married, what his goal is with marriage, but you have already agreed to be exclusive for him, even though, especially to my women who are over 30, you desire kids and a husband, you want to get married and you want a husband. If you don't know where this man is, or if you don't know like where he's taking you as far as marriage goes, then for you to give some of your best childbearing years to him, and you don't know when or if or where or how you guys are gonna get married, what you're doing is essentially you are keeping yourself trapped and you are potentially wasting your time. And the most important thing as a woman that you have is time. So it's important that you don't hop into exclusivity so soon with someone who has not even shared with you or told you or expressed to you, my intention is, this as far as marriage goes, or I'm intending to marry you within this time frame. If you don't know that, that's how you see women that end up in 10 years of girlfriend relationships, or 10 years just waiting around, and if you desire to be a wife, none of that benefits you. Like when me and my husband met, from the time we met to the time we got engaged, it was 9 months. It was not like we took forever and years to get married and get engaged. So now we have a son, and now we are happily married, and we're moving forward with our lives. And there are so many women you settle for just being exclusive, and he keeps you there for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, when he could have spent that same amount of time just marrying you. And so, if you desire marriage, you should make it known that you desire marriage versus just settling and just continuing to just stay trapped there and just like seeing what he wants to do or if or when he's ever going to make up his mind. So mistake number two, you guys, is that when you become exclusive too soon, you heighten potential anxiety, and yeah, you heighten potential anxiety because he suddenly must be Mr. Right because he's your boyfriend. So I don't know about you, but when you get a man that's in your head and you're like, this is my man, this is my man, my man, my man, what happens is that essentially you begin to cling to this thought, you cling to this idea, you cling to this dream of this man being your man. And when you become exclusive too soon, you suddenly start to get where you have to try to make the relationship work out. Hey, hi Andrea, I see your question. I will answer that in another video. Um, or I might answer at the time if you're still on and I have the time. So you're in this desperation space where you need to make this relationship work out because you're like, oh, I see him, he's in a relationship with me, he has to be the one. When in truth, here's the truth: some men, they will keep you in a relationship for as long as you let them, while they continue to go around looking for Mrs. Right. while they continue to go around and look for the one that they really do want to commit to in 6 months, 9 months, less than a year, and get married to. And so you're staying in the relationship. He breaks up with you, and then he goes and gets with who. This is not working for me, and what I really desire is marriage. And so, yeah, in the Bible, I wrote this down, is that you're either married or you're not married. There's no just bouncing in between the two. There's no just like, oh, he's my boyfriend, he's my man. No, you're either married or you're not married. And so we've kind of convoluted it in society today where we're like, well, he's my boyfriend, but you guys still are headed towards marriage after 3 years, and you're just stuck in this place. And what you're doing as a woman is you are at your best self right now, especially if you're in your 30s and you're trying to have kids. And if you're trying to have kids within marriage and he's keeping you stuck in the relationship trap, he's in a dating relationship trap, he's not marrying you, you are wasting or potentially wasting your time. Now, are there exceptions to this rule? Yes. There are women, they've dated for 10 years. I know of one couple, they're a beautiful couple. They dated for 10 years and she was stuck in the relationship trap. But even her, after 10 years, she gave him an ultimatum and he did marry her. But what I'm saying is, why even put yourself in that position where you have to give him an ultimatum versus being with someone from the beginning who has made it clear that I desire to marry you, I desire you to be my wife. And if you guys like this content, give me a like so that I know you guys like it, and then also subscribe, all right? So it's important that you realize that you become anxious when you get into the relationship desperation type trap. You're stuck there and you're just waiting on him. And a lot of times you're being exclusive too soon. It leads you to feeling needy around phone calls, needy around dates, needy around when he's texting, needy around, is my boyfriend going to set up a date this weekend or not? All of this around a boyfriend who has not even given you a ring, who has not even made you his wife, who you've been in a relationship with. It's just a lot of emotional energy and an investment for someone who has not taken the next step to say, okay, you're going to be my wife. I'm going to propose to you. I'm going to move to the next level. And so when you become that needy and desperate, you lose what's called this dream girl factor. And I talk about this in my course, Forever Love. I go way more in depth into it, where I take you from single to engaged in record time without settling or lowering your standards. So if you're interested in that, you subscribe. Make sure that you book a call with me below if you're interested in getting signed up for that. And we do work on femininity and all those things. But let me tell you a little bit about the dream girl factor that I teach in my course. So you lose this dream girl factor when you are just stuck in the relationship trap or the relationship cycle. You're just in a relationship perpetually with this one man. And you begin to text him more, you begin to call him more, you begin to say, babe, this, that, or the third, let me do this for you, let me do that for you, let me cook for you, let me have sex with you, let me do anything to prove to you and to audition to you and to show you, and this is where a lot of women are, that I am your wife. And the truth of the matter is you're either his wife or you're not, and everything that you're doing is not going to speed up his decision-making process. What speeds up the decision-making process for a man is him realizing that you're his wife, and the Lord gives it to him, or if he's not saved, he knows it within his gut that you're his wife, and he moves about proposing to you, and he moves about marrying you. And so it's important that you keep the dream girl factor, which again I talk about more in Forever Love. You keep that dream girl factor so that you are not just texting and calling and being super needy and clingy. And so when you lose that dream girl factor, you lose the butterflies, you lose the fun, you lose all of the stuff that was in the relationship in the beginning because you're suddenly needy and desperate and texting and calling. Mistake number 3, you guys, is the dating relationship will go from carefree and fun to tense, and it comes across as if you're just, again, waiting for him to pop the question and take things to the next level. So one of the things that I teach my dating clients is that dating should be fun. Dating should feel light. Dating should feel not heavy. Dating is not you begging him to make the next move. Dating is not you asking him, when are we getting married? When is this going to go to the next level? Like, dating is none of that. Dating should be light, fun, and he as a man should be leading you down the path towards getting married to you, towards, you know, yeah, he's ready for you to be his wife and things of that nature. If you are constantly, I'm ready for marriage, I'm giving you an ultimatum, I'm telling you that we need to be married, like you're constantly doing these conversations, which men don't take seriously anyways because men respect actions, not your words. So if you're continuing to have this conversation about an ultimatum or conversation about, you know, this is what I want, and you know, just all this ultimatum type stuff, you might as well save your words. You could have just got up and left. And so all those types of conversations when you're in a relationship, it's just, and you're having them multiple times, you're just showing him you're not serious. And he knows that. And so if you want to go from single to engaged, I encourage you, don't settle for just being a girlfriend. Don't settle for not being exclusive. I mean, I'm sorry, not that. Don't settle for just being a girlfriend, but really do date and wait until you meet a man who's serious about taking things to the next level with you. And it's not going to take him forever to know. It's not going to take him forever to understand that you're his wife, to understand that you're the one, to understand that, you know, you're the one that he wants to spend the rest of his life with. The other thing about when you're dating is that it when and you really want for him to take things to the next level with you is that it leads to resentment in the pit of your stomach because you are what I call on the shelf for a man. You're on the shelf for him to figure out, like I said, if he wants to marry you. And you deserve so much more than that. I know women who've been in, in relationships for so many years, and their friends are asking, and their family is asking, when are you guys getting married? And they are asking, when am I going to get married? But of course, to save face, they're just going around to friends and family, like, I'm okay. When in reality, you're not. Um, so yeah, don't get stuck in that relationship trap. Don't get stuck in forever just being a girlfriend. Um, it's different if a man is intentional. He's like, well, you can be my girlfriend, but this is where I see things going within, a year or so. Listen, if it's more than a year and you guys are outside of, and definitely more than 2 years, and you're outside of college, you're outside of that space where he's getting his degree, a lot of times when he's stalling and he's taking time, he's stalling and taking time because he's not ready. He wants to see if there's another best option. He's not sure if you are the best option for him. So it's important that if you are a wife, the Bible says, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains the favor of the Lord." And you want to be a wife, that you make that clear from the get-go. I know a lot of people say, well, let's just play around with it. I don't really need to let him know I want to be a wife. Now, there's a way that I teach you to share that information in my course, Forever Love. But if you want to be a wife, it should be known that you want to be a wife, not that you just want to be girlfriend forever, sharing a house together, sharing bills together, doing all types of stuff, but he's not making you a wife. So you deserve so much more. You guys, I love you. Andrea, let me know if you're still here and I'll answer your question. But if not, if you want to connect with me further, you can book a call. I go so much more in depth in all of this and take you from point A to point Z in my signature course, Forever Love, where I teach you how to go from single to married without settling or lowering your standards in record time. And even this topic of femininity, this is something that I cover way in depth within the course. So I can share some of it here. Andrea, what questions do you have specifically? Because that's such a broad topic. I could literally talk about this topic for days. It just depends on what you want to talk about. I do know that my next video is coming up and I'm going to dive more into softness and femininity. So if you are interested in that, make sure that you subscribe. So I will give you a brief hit on femininity. Oh, Andrea, you come off masculine. That's what I work with my clients on. So here's the truth. When I did not understand that masculine does not mean you have big muscles, and masculine does not mean that you um, dress like a man or anything like that. I the first time I heard that terminology, I was like, "What do you mean I'm all masculine?" Like I was so offended. But masculine simply means that there is boardroom aspect about you, where you are more so authoritative, in charge, take control, in command, versus you being um, versus you being more willing to follow, being more receptive, being more open, being more vulnerable. And so those are skills that it's not gonna just take like a one hit here. This is something that you have to work on over months. In my course, I teach you how to go from single to engaged, using the skills, working on those skills, and we hone them all the way up into your engagement. So yeah, how do you balance when you lead? I really don't. You know what? And that's why if you go to my Facebook right now, you'll see that my husband. People wonder like, how is it like you have date nights every night? I started from the beginning. I mean, date nights every week, where I let my husband take the lead. So, and that's how I teach you to date as well. That's why I said this is so hard to cover in depth here. But I can tell you about my personal story. I never chased him. I never pursued him. I never called him. I never texted him first. I never initiated. I never did any of those things. From the beginning, it was his idea to date and to marry me. And so when we transition into the marital aspect, my husband still takes the lead on dating me, on courting me, on, I could share with you so many sweet things that he does, like from, with dinners. If I don't cook, he's calling, he's trying to pick up stuff so that we can have dinner in the house. He plans our vacations. Like, that's the way that I teach women to set up the dynamic in their relationship. And if there is leading, it's usually because he'll ask me to take the lead on something. So that's how you balance when you lead. When is he asking you to take the lead on something? Like, we're having a party coming up for our son, and he asked me, I got this email from the company. Can you please make the call to, finalize things and go back and forth with him? So when a man is asking for your help, you're okay with taking the lead. If he's not asking, you kind of are not taking the lead. And really, like I said, I go so much more in depth in this in my course. So it's hard for me to answer what exactly you're talking about if you're not in a relationship. I don't know if you're super single. I don't know where you are. But again, if you're interested in working with me, book a call with me at the link below. And again, when a man is asking for your help, then you take the lead. If you're driving to him, if you're texting him, if you're calling him, if you're buying him, gifts, and it's not a celebration and birthdays, you haven't been in a relationship. These are all leading things. Um, so yeah, you don't lead unless it's respectful. If he asks you to lead, then you take the lead. I hope that helps. Andrea, did that help? Is there any other questions that you guys have? And I plan to go live hopefully a lot more. So, but I love you guys. Again, like I said, connect with me in the links below. Book a call. It's 45 minutes on my Calendly if you're interested. And you can book a call below. I love you guys, and I'm going to get ready to log off. But again, this topic was on the topic of stop being exclusive too soon. All right. And if that blessed you, I pray that it does. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you